Welcome back to Blockspace Bites, where Will and Charlie hit everything Blockspace and Bitcoin in 10 minutes or less. We're going to do this. Yeah, that's 2 5s if you're Will. So we'll do this every Monday. Make sure you put everything on notice, YouTube and X. Otherwise, let's hop into it. We have our clip of the week, Will. Who do you think the clip of the week is this time?
Well, let me guess. Probably
Let me
Casey
guess.
Whittemore.
It's the Casey Rotomore. Let's do this. This is from the podcast interview we did with Casey a couple weeks ago. I think it's got infinite gems in it. This one is on Casey's design philosophy behind runes and click play.
And there's been real demand for fungible tokens for a long time. Like there were altcoins on Bitcoin very early. I don't remember when Litecoin was first made, but it was like, 2012 or something maybe. And there's sort of the old school altcoin boom in 2013, 2014, and then the ICO boom on Ethereum in 2017. So there's been real demand for a long, long time, but nobody wrote like a halfway decent fungible token standard. And then sort of from the other side, you had sort of hardcore Bitcoiners, more serious devs working on things like Taproot Assets or RGB that are just fantastically complicated. They're so complicated. And because they use off-chain data to get their sort of like proofs or like state, they are incredibly complicated because you not only have a Bitcoin node that you get the transactions from, but you also have this other network that you get other data from. So I'm very confused by why it didn't exist. But yeah, I didn't initially intend to implement it. And then sort of like, why not? Like I think kind of bored, and it was an interesting technical challenge, a lot of like ideas to work out. So just kind of did it.
Yeah, so Casey kind of talks through the whys and hows of implementation. I think the big takeaway is like, and this question I asked too, which is like, why had nobody done runes on Bitcoin before? Kind of a surprise. So that'll be a mystery. Otherwise, Will, we've had some good pods coming out this week. You want to hit those high points for me?
Yes, a lot of good pods. I think the biggest one is the Quart Show. So we have been working with Quart for 6 months now, and that podcast first sponsor. So I think a little celebration there to show that it's like actually, doing something for people. Ellipsis Labs, shout out to Ellipsis Labs for making that possible.
Shout out to the sponsor Ellipsis Labs from the Quart Show.
Check them out. Check out Phoenix, their trading deck. So they had we had Tarun Chitra on that show, and it was awesome. Like I've listened to a lot of Tarun conversations in the past, and frankly, I've not really enjoyed them because they typically like delve into like the dictionary and thesaurus and not super approachable. But something about this one was a little bit different.
Yeah, I actually listened to the whole thing. I didn't take notes because I was cleaning my apartment this time, but I'll go back and take notes because I enjoyed it. I listened to it all the way through, and I gotta say, I've never really listened to Tarun that much. Not really been my particular style of communication and topics. But you know what? Gwart manages to make every counterparty the most interesting interview. So that one's very compelling.
He's a real knack for it.
Yeah,
there was a part, not to dwell on it too long because we only have 10 minutes for this Blockspace Bites. But Gwart, in about 10 minutes in, Tarun's telling this story. I think Tarun thought it was kind of funny, or maybe it is a funny story, just like told better in person. And he was looking for like a laugh or even just a courtesy laugh. And Gwart just didn't give him anything. Like literally didn't give him anything. He was like, oh, okay. So he finished the story and he just like silence for like a second. And then he just kept going. And I like that honesty in the conversation. I kind of think it sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. So yeah. Go check that out. It's on blockspace.media, or if you're following our Twitter or YouTube page, you can find it right there.
All right. Also, pods this week, we've got the Citrea interview. I did a great deep dive on with the one of the technical guys, Orkun, of Citrea, co-founder of that project. I've done a lot of kind of treatment on BitVM and things like that on Bitcoin Season 2. So that'll be coming out Wednesday on the video podcast on Bitcoin Season 2. We've also got Mining Pod weekly. We've got Mining Pod, but really, I think a lot of the content this week will, and we'll talk about this in the What's Next section, will come from our trip down to Bitcoin Plus.
That's right. Blockspace will be up at Bitcoin Plus Plus. If you are down there, let us know. We're going to be doing a lot of podcasts with a lot of people talking about Bitcoin script. So if you're interested in Bitcoin script, what's going to happen with opcodes this year, then you should go to Bitcoin Plus Plus and then also say hi to us. We love talking to people.
All right. So as far as writing this week, we've also got we just had this morning a great piece. I mean, it's a great piece, obviously, because I wrote it on hash price, the new meme coin. If you look at the price of hash price, if you look at the hash price chart, it looks like a pump and dump. Look at that. This is the runes pump and the runes dump right after the halving. All-time or monthly high for hash price, and then all-time low back to back within a span of, I think, 5 days. So we break
Wild.
it down. Yeah.
It's the beginning of a mining bear market right there. If that continues for just a while, typically that happens after having surprise.
Yeah.
But I think the runes thing, as you point out in this article in the newsletter, people thought it might be different this time. Turns out not.
Yeah. I was wondering, is this time different? And the answer is a resounding no. It's not different. It's more punishing than ever. So also, if you missed the Friday newsletter, we broke down the VIA BTC most profitable Bitcoin block of all time. So we kind of break down how that works, how they extracted all the money from it, and just how much they earned. Otherwise, also in writing, coming out later this week is we're gonna dabble in the Twitter articles for the likelihood, or kind of catch you up to speed on the software conversation. So I'll kind of break some of that down for you if you just haven't been paying attention.
Quick shout out to the 175 of you guys listening right now. If you're enjoying it, hit the notification button on Twitter or subscribe on YouTube. We'll be doing these every Monday, and I think we might start doing these more over the summer months as content gets a little slower. We'll do like 10-minute things in the morning. Charlie, back to you.
Yeah, so we only got one more minute before we hit 10. What's next? Blockspace team is going down to Bitcoin Plus Plus in Austin, more technical conference, but I think it's going to be one of the more iconic conferences of the year. So we're going to be there. We're going to be covering it. Yeah, what else? Oh yeah, Will, you're taking a look at the pre-runes. What's going on here?
What's next is let's talk about runes for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Arsic went crazy last night over the weekend. I think there's a lot of speculation around that. And then Prometheans kind of dropped off after that snapshot. So those are two interesting things. For mining stocks, I want to plug that. We're getting into Q1 reporting. So we're going to see a lot of action around mining stocks. Bitcoin right now isn't doing much right now. I think going to summer, probably not a lot of action. We're not a price show, but talk a little bit about it at the end of the Blockspace Bites.
Blockspace Bites can be a price adjacent show. The rest of Blockspace content, obviously, top-notch quality. Make sure to like and subscribe. Subscribe to the newsletter. Click open. Move it from the promotion Google category to the primary Google category, so you don't miss it. Because there is real alpha in there, whether you're a runes enjoyer, or whether you're a mining enjoyer, or whether you're a Bitcoin tech enjoyer. All of that, we hit that every week. Also, I think shout out, we have a great links we liked section in there, which I think is underappreciated. We kind of do all of the heavy lifting for the reading for the week and package that for you there. So otherwise, Will, are we done with Blockspace Bites?
Yeah, there's a new content format for us. So if you are in the East Coast, it's going to be noon, lunchtime on Mondays, and of course, be 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're across the U.S., probably a good time for you to tune in, catch up on everything Bitcoin in a minute or less with Blockspace. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.